Hey Bonehonks, this video is all about STB podcast. I sat down with my good friends Kompetitor and Wideturn. We were all at ECT together. It was nice to have the band together competing again. So we're just gonna talk about ECT, about the patch, the current state of the game, what's going on, and yeah. So that's all I have to say. Let's get into it. Hope you enjoy.
Accept your death.
So all three of us were at ECT, which was like the first pro league competition, which didn't really realize I was going to be a pro competition until like a week before the event. I just briefly talking on the actual event. How was your experience? I guess wide turn. You want to go first on that one?
It was super fun. I love ECT. They always have shout outs to the designer. I mean, as a designer myself, they always have the best swag, and it's kind of expensive, but like I don't even care. I just go there and I just dump money on it. It's so sick.
Yeah.
So that's always good. But I think there was a pretty good turnout. I mean, it wasn't like Evo, but there was a lot of players. I think the player base was particularly strong. I felt like there was a lot of strong players there, which is great. Makes it the upsets happen, and there were some crazy sets, and it's super fun to watch. But you also like gain a lot of experience, right? And yeah, I think the best part about going to offlines is just the people you meet and getting to see them. For me, obviously getting to kind of meet the rest of the STB team, and then see people I haven't seen in 4 years, like my buddy Matrix and whole other people. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I definitely missed the major. Yeah, it was the last major that I went to was DreamHack Montreal, I think, in 2019, I think. So it was like really cool to get out and be a part of that again. Just the whole experiences. If you've never been to one of those, I strongly recommend it. Kompetitor, about the event itself, your whole experience.
Um, I think it was a great event. I had a lot of fun just catching up with a lot of players that I haven't seen since, Combo Breaker 2022. And once again, it was awesome hanging out, Dink. It's always
Hell
a
yeah.
pleasure seeing you. It's been more than, I think it's been like 5 years. And then wide turn, it was great golfing with you as well. Whooping you on the course, but you whooped me in casuals, so evens out.
God damn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who won the golf game though? Is there winners in that?
I mean, we didn't really. We weren't really keeping like too tight of a score, but Joe was very good.
Yeah, old man.
Despite the events that conspired Sunday morning, but
Yeah, that Saturday was a rough night. That was out late. Lots of fun.
yep. But
A little too much.
a little too much. But the event was great. I got so many games in over the weekend, and once again, it was just really cool meeting all like the new like MK11 players that I didn't get to meet at the one major I went to during that game's life. And even though I didn't perform as well as I wanted to, I still learned a ton. I even prepped for Cyrix getting nerfed, so I've been using Johnny Kung Lao all weekend. But
Nice.
overall, it's a great time. And if you guys have never been to an event before, like a tournament like this, even if you go as a spectator, the atmosphere is just amazing, and you can meet so many cool people and learn a ton about the games you play. So, definitely go support the tournaments, support your locals. It's an awesome time. You never know who you'll meet there or what friends you'll make.
Yeah, 100%. And then yeah, I pretty much can echo the same experience of the event from you guys. I thought that all the merch was so cool. Like I stand trying to be the first one to go and get the merch. Like I can't believe how big that line got.
Dude, we were the first ones there. That was
I know, that was crazy. And within like minutes, it was just like line up down the freaking hallway. I was like, holy smokes! I'm glad we got there.
Yeah, I'm wearing my hoodie right now.
I'm wearing my shirt.
It's too sick. It's too sick.
The design is just so good. I love it. Some of the stuff I can't even read. I don't even know what it says, but it's sick.
Doesn't even matter. It's sick.
It's
Yeah.
sick. It doesn't matter. It's like your favorite metal band or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And I gotta say, like, shout outs to like everyone that ran the tournament. Like, I'm not sure if your experience was the same as mine, but everyone running the pools and like everything was on time. Nothing was really delayed. The only kind of blip that I saw was Kompetitor just getting kind of bumped off his stream match, which kind of sucked. But I think that was more of a time thing than anything else. But other than
Don't
that,
even worry about it. That stream setup sucked. I mean, it always does, but
yeah, because he got so much
oh,
stuff going into. I didn't notice anything, but I mean, I was playing against Johnny Cage, so I didn't really get to play for most of my my set.
Come on, he's bottom 5, man.
Okay, we'll get to that. But yeah, Wideturn, you made it out of your pool, and that last match against that Scorpion.
oh
Oh,
yeah, I know.
oh
That's what.
baby,
Yeah, poor guy.
I don't.
Um, yeah. I lost my first match, which obviously sucks because you gotta climb pretty hard if you lose your first match. I played a Shao player who like literally it was like embarrassing. I got smoked. It was on stream. It was like the first stream of the event, and to anyone who was watching, I got destroyed. But then I won 5 games and ended up climbing fucking out of pools slowly. But it was super fun.
Yeah, it was so hype watching you, just being your hype man in behind, and like
Yeah.
it was a great time. And Kompetitor, I know you said that you didn't do as great as you wanted. As far as like the gameplay wise, like what was your experience like there?
Well, one, I'm really upset that I was the very first match streamed of any game at ECT,
Oh,
and it was
yeah.
Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, that's
Two,
right.
it was Guile versus JP, which, if you guys know anything about Street Fighter, that matchup is horrible for Guile. Three, I haven't played Street Fighter 6 in months. And four, it was against my teammate. So that was just a huge L. It was pretty
Thanks.
funny though.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
wasn't even
we played for like a good 10 minutes in the in the room
Yeah,
before he went down.
yeah, I think I hit like a crouching medium punch flash kick. That was
That's good enough. Good enough.
good enough. But it was fun to play on stream. But for MK, which was obviously my what I focused on. I don't know, man. I practice a lot with retro, and that katana player, he was not ready for my matchup knowledge. Like
Yeah, that was sick.
that was just beyond. I don't want to say free, but I felt confident going into that. And my next opponent, I feel like I was not playing my best. Like I definitely wasn't myself in that set. I wasn't flawless blocking Raiden's chip. I kept trying to flawless block it and just mistiming it. Just ugly play in general. And immediate tilt, the tilt set in. You could definitely. I watch back my matches because I am making a vlog and I have the footage, but like I could tell when I snapped and I just started playing like garbage. Like I just started getting way too impatient and
Who were
that
they
bled
playing?
Raiden.
Oh, okay.
And then that bled into my next set. I had to play the mirror, and I
Oof.
was doing ugly stuff, man. Like it was just full tilt mode, and
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks when you practice and grind so much for something and just don't perform. But
Yeah, and I think also to the people who are watching, like when you're in the comfort of your own house with your own setup that you played on millions of times, it's like the feeling is different. And also people play differently in a tournament set. I think it's literally almost like survival instinct. It's like everyone's adrenaline is like the reaction times that people have. It's like a totally different ball game. So
Oh, totally.
I think what Joe's speaking to is pretty accurate. Like all those like slight changes, how you feel, how someone else feel, it could totally change the course of the matches, even if they're both good players, or if somebody's a particularly a good player and the other person, their opponent, is just like you know cruising in a flow. They can lose the match. So
Yeah, it's definitely different playing in tournament than it is just playing even just like against a friend or online or obviously it's you have not only the offline timing but you also have just the atmosphere around you. There's noise, you might not be able to hear exactly what's going on.
sure you can.
Yeah. Right?
Dude, dude, I was Tilt. You guys got to prep for it. You guys got to prep for anything. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, that
Um,
that I think so. Yeah, so competitor's opponent was every time he do the rising star, it's sure you can. Like
just yelling it. It's
that
like,
would
bro.
throw me off big time. Like, but I mean that's part of the tournament experience. You know, there's going to be distractions. There's going to be things happening. Not as not as easy as to focus. You know, definitely.
Yeah, but I had some talks with some other players. Shout outs to in Super Bowl and Dr. African. He's a Street Fighter player. I had a good long talk with them the night after pools and stuff, and I learned a lot about getting better mentally because I know the game, I know the matchups, I know how to play my character, I know how to fight these characters, and it just comes down to your mental in that moment, that state of mind, your autopilot, what you default to, how you figure out your opponent, things like that, and I feel like talking to experienced players like that definitely helped me understand where I went wrong and helped me find some of my triggers. So I definitely I definitely feel like I've improved a lot mentally since that tournament. I'll be more prepared moving forward.
And that's always been kind of my mantra is like a loss is only truly a loss if nothing is learned. If you just walked away with that all mad and red in the face and didn't actually like focus on what you could have done better, then I mean, it's a waste. It's a waste for sure. So I did okay against my first opponent. I had no idea who they were, which in my opinion, if you don't know somebody, that's scarier than knowing somebody because then at least if you know who they are, you can kind of prep a little bit. But shout out to Kompetitor for actually finding their Twitter and found out that they played Sindel and Sindel Lau, I think it was. So I practiced up on my Sindel Shujinko combos. I ended up getting that one, the 3-0, which set me up for the stream match against Kevo, which did not go my way, but I mean that's okay. Johnny Cage is a rough one for us, and if we don't keep him out, it's GG's, and you're not keeping Johnny out, not in this game. Find zoning's not too prominent in this, but maybe that'll change. Who knows? And then after that, I lost a really close one to a Sub-Zero. Came down to last game, last round, and I just got hit with the Lao hat jump in into back two. Guess again, bro. And that was it.
Guess again, bro.
Guess again, bro. Yeah,
Yeah, and also like I feel like they gave Johnny all these things, like a jumping kick that you like. It's so hard to anti-air his. I mean, I think you just have to up block. It's his jump kick is so fat. So
yeah,
even like if you're trying to zone and you're like, oh, I'm gonna like play some mind games and like not zone and play footsies and they try and jump, but you're like, oh, I'm ready for your jump. You still gotta like figure out how to anti-air him because I feel like he's one of the only characters that like he just like eats my anti-air pretty much.
yeah,
Well, that's you gotta up block really verse him to be honest, because like it's really his jump kick is super good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Super active.
win. Yeah, it wins. Like the farther you are away from him, the easier it is to anti-air. But if he's like, does a deeper jump, or he's like you're in the corner and he does a neutral jump kick, it's like it's gonna like probably eat your standing button anti-air, unless you're down two. But
Yeah,
Sub-Zero doesn't have a good down two with a vertical hitbox, so
yeah. Yours is really good out front, right?
yeah. But so is my standing one, and I can convert off it. So there's really no point in using my down two.
Or
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I played a lot of casuals before the tournament. I feel like I got into really bad jumping habits just because nobody was anti-airing me.
Mm.
Like simply up block exists, and once people start using it more, I feel like it's gonna change a lot of the game.
Yeah, I try and like for people also defending themselves against jump-ins, like I definitely mix in up block every now and then. I try not to do it too much. And then it just becomes like another layer of mind game. They do an empty jump into like, some characters might have low starters, and then you're gonna eat a low starter.
yeah, it's then you have like the throw game too, right? Where you get the enhanced damage on the throws if you empty jump.
Mhm.
on the up block. And then if you have characters like Jax or like Reiko or something with like a command grab, then you start throwing that stuff in. Man, you can get
Yeah, the
hairy.
command grab with the up block. Oh man,
That's some damage.
that does a lot of damage.
That does some damage. So before we get too caught up on that kind of stuff, just closing out the ECT conversation. Wideturn, what was your thought on the top 8? I know that we watched it together, so I just wanted to see what you thought overall of like what we saw, the characters, the players, anything like that.
I'm just actually like trying to remember. Oh, there was like with Sonic running it back against Ninja, right? Like, didn't that happen? Or was it a reverse 3-0? Like, what happened
Yeah,
again?
he reversed 3-0'd him because Ninja went up 2-0 in grand finals
Yeah. You know, I was there,
to
but
to reset it.
dude, my brain.
I was
Um,
there, but my brain wasn't there either. I don't blame you.
Yeah, and then Combat, aka Zombat, just with the Johnny. Who did he play? He played a mirror against. Was it Turkey?
I think it
Yeah,
was
Raiden.
No. He
in
didn't. Just
in top 8. It was Pulse, I think.
Oh, Pulse. I'm sorry. That's right. Dude, oh my God, like Pulse has been like crushing competition with Johnny, and then seeing somebody else who like at least I know obviously Combat's like amazing, but like I haven't seen him at like a major in a while, so like seeing him also play Johnny and just kind of like bodying Pulse was pretty like crazy to me.
Yeah,
Um,
it definitely was not something I expected, especially having seen like what Pulse has been doing in the last month or so. So
yeah, it just goes to show that there's like a couple players at the top. They're just like they're up there.
they're just next level. They got that experience. They got that tournament experience too. Like that's something else too. Is like usually like you get like these players that are like super duper good online, and like their first couple offline events don't quite go the way they want because it is that you need that experience of playing offline. Otherwise, you just don't play like yourself. So it's the tournament veterans definitely come out and you see them.
Yeah, I think Combat's definitely more of a veteran than Pulse is.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
super familiar with Pulse. I think I saw him around. I think did he start in MK11 era? I think that's when I first saw
Yeah,
him.
yeah. He played MK11. I don't recall seeing him before that. Maybe he played Injustice 2. I'm not 100%, but he's definitely he was a good. I think he played Johnny on the side or something in MK11. So
yeah, I don't know if he played Injustice. I know obviously Combat played Injustice too. Did Combat play Darkseid?
I'm
in
not
the
sure.
beginning, Firestorm. He played
Yeah,
Darkseid in the beginning and tried to
first,
make him
yeah.
work, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I remember seeing him in top 8s with Darkseid, at least early on, which is crazy because that character is kind of trash. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's a that's definitely a story for another day. Uh, I was surprised at the spread of characters in top 8. Like there was we had Video Games Yo with Shang Tsung who basically just did one block string and got his way to top 8, which is really really impressive. That damage that
I
Chip did was nuts.
I just won a match against Gambler with the parry. I'm sorry, that was hype.
Yeah, for
Competitor.
those who are watching who don't know, Competitors literally in a tournament
Yeah,
right now.
just like
So
just like double team and double fist in it, just hanging out, chatting with us casually while beating up King Gambler, no big deal. I know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say beating him up. I'm fighting for my life right now.
If they really wasted no time dropping that balance patch, like literally right after the event, I think it was the Monday of the event, and just their intentions were clear. Like Cyrax is too strong, down he goes with the nerf. And I really haven't seen too many Cyraxes since, if I'm being quite honest.
playing
Yeah,
Loud
like
Hat, which I think should have got nerfed a
yeah,
little
like
harder,
Hat
but
has a lot more,
whatever is what it is.
yeah, more utility and like just
Utility for
everybody has
sure.
a fun to blockable. And even though they did like slow down how fast the low comes back, it is still a problem. That's nowhere close. It's still nowhere close to what it needs to be,
It's still fast, dude. You
right?
play footsies for like a second longer when you get
Yeah,
it back
like
again. It's like
whatever.
it
The
feels like it
change
has
was
no
just not
effect.
what it
Yeah.
needed. And it'll be interesting to see how often they do balance patches like that, because like yeah, it was I don't know. It needs some adjusting. Johnny Cage is still a problem. Overall, the patch fixed some things, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It definitely seemed like the Cyrax killer. And
Right.
don't get me wrong, I think Cyrax is still good, but just like the ridiculousness is
Well,
slowed down a little bit.
I
Yeah.
hear a lot of people talking. I think they should have just made other thing. Well, I'm not saying this is my personal opinion, but there's always the debate on should we just make it crazier or should we just nerf the things that are floating to the top as far as what's feeling kind of absurdly crazy. Some people are advocating for making everyone else's cameo like stupid. So
I
kind of
mean,
like the old
yeah, I
MKX
mean, especially like, and I think I
vibe.
saw Sonic Fox
But
there saying that like assist games are supposed to be wild and crazy. Like to be like nerfing things right off the bat is kind of not really the direction
Yeah.
that they thought that
It's
NRS should go. Which I can agree with for sure. I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah, my biggest thing about that is like, I got texted while I was driving back from ECT, like, yo, the patch is out. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, what's going on? There's no way that they were able to implement all those changes after the
oh yeah,
tournament. So they knew what was busted and made
for
these
sure.
adjustments before seeing the results of the tournament. Now, we all know it was obvious Cyrax was the best cameo
Right.
by far, except for maybe a couple characters. But everything else, like the Baraka damage nerfs, I don't think they thought about how that affects the character once they don't use Cyrax. And
Right.
Raiden's still really good, trust me.
Yeah, I
But
agree. Raiden's also pretty good still.
he can still do all the same jailing stuff with Sector, and he gets 45% meterless in the corner with Sector. He's still good, even despite the damage nerfs. He still has the same utility. But
Right.
they left Johnny as is, they left Ashra as is, they left Kenshi as is, which I think is fine to a point. I'd like to see other characters and other cameos brought up, but it's a lot tougher to balance that rather than just toning down what's broke.
Yeah,
But we
that's
don't want
true.
this game to be as bland as MK11.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that this game, it's kind of good that it's not like super duper busted, like because it makes it playable. So for me, like like it's not so wild. Like anything that's crazy in this game is like pretty situational, and I think it should be that way to a degree. Like you shouldn't, if something is like you're taking like I don't know 90% on like a unblockable, restand setup or something, like that should be like only certain times like you can set that up and it's really hard to get or something, right? Um so I don't know about
Yeah,
making it too crazy personally, but I guess we'll see where it goes because I think there might be another patch like just real quick thing. Kind of like what Kompetitor was talking about, where like they just let that rip. They had that ready to go, like on deck, just ready to rip after that tournament. So they already knew kind of what was wild. But I felt in the tournament there was like a like at least in the top 8 with Combat playing Pulse, it was just like Johnny, like Johnny Lowhat. And we didn't really
Mm-hmm.
see too many big changes to Johnny or to Lowhat. So I thought that was
Well,
kind of interesting.
that's why I thought them having that ready to go rather than watching the results of the tournament and basing it off of that is like Lowhat got like a slap on the wrist, but it's still like just as good. Whereas if they saw how much Lowhat was used, I mean, it wasn't used a ton compared to Cyrax, but it was the second most used cameo. And
Yeah, yeah,
I think if they saw that result in the tournament, they would make the cooldown a lot longer than they did. Because, like, I said that there was a cooldown change, and a lot of people on Twitter were like, oh, there's no difference. What are you talking about? And I'm like, it's slightly slower. It's not that much slower, but it's slightly slower,
yeah,
And I feel like he got away with murder on that one, which, like I said, I don't think they should. Like they shouldn't kill the cameo, right? Like Cyrax isn't dead, but like I'm not gonna use him. He's maybe I think he's still decent for Sub-Zero because you use him mainly for Sub-Zero for the upward spiral, the
yeah,
upwards helicopter for damage. So I mean like you could still use him for damage and it's fine. Like Raiden could probably still use him, but like
yeah, right.
he's not as oppressive on block, and I don't really see a purpose unless they buff like the bomb or something with him, but.
Right.
Who knows? Like I said, they need to. They're walking on eggshells with the balance patch because, like I said, all these nerfs just right off the bat before even seeing everything it kind of worries me. And second, I don't think they should base every single
definitely.
decision off of just competitive players, because like, then you're just molding the perfect game for like, oh, Sonic Fox, or like, oh, Ninja Killa, like how they want to play the game or something. Whereas like casual players still do matter. And if there's something that's really stupid that's insanely hard to deal with, like flawless blocking Raiden Storm Cell into Cyrax, that probably shouldn't stay in, and just things like that moving forward. But I think it's a good baseline, look at tournaments and be like, hey, this is stupid. But they should also
Yeah, and
let some things rock.
that's where I think this game is going to be
That's what makes
tough
the
to
game
balance
fun.
it between casuals and competitive, because like there really isn't like a casual mode, like in in MK11 you had like the banned moves that you could use, and you had like the towers and like the augments and stuff that you can equip, and I guess you have invasions in this game, but like to play it casually, it's not really like a casual mode where you. So if you have to like flawless block Raiden to like actually beat him, that could really turn a lot of casual players off of playing that game, which I totally would get, obviously.
Yeah, I think also I feel like just like as far as like meta goes, there's like not a lot of like cameo diversity just in general.
Yeah.
It's very character specific. Like Molina works great with Scorpion. Asher works pretty well with Scorpion, but like Sub-Zero, I play
No,
Sub-Zero by the
no,
way.
no. You got out of your pool. You're fine.
Rip, I guess, but um,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
into pools with Sub-Zero, crazy. But yeah, I think I wish that I could use Scorpion with Sub-Zero, and it's just I mean, I'm not a lab monster, and I don't spend like every day of my waking life in the lab, but I spent like a solid 3 or 4 hours trying to make stuff
Right.
work with Scorpion. It just like was not compatible at all. So I just wish like there was something like. And for Sub-Zero, a lot of his combos, like anything that launches in the air, it's like hard to continue a combo with him.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
like it's but
for just to piggyback on that really quick,
yeah.
Sub-Zero with Scorpion, I saw Buffalo actually posted some like combos and stuff earlier on in the game because he was messing with them. I don't know if the spear is an ambush or a summon, but I mean, I feel like doing a clone setup and then getting the armor pullback from the spear could be decent on like reads and stuff. I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
some ideas, but yeah, like Sub-Zero, definitely. I feel like Serena's the go-to, or Cyrax for corner damage. Other than that,
Sonya is pretty good too because it makes his low
Oh,
like
with
you can
the
launch
square
off
wave?
it with her high. Um. So Sonya has
Yeah,
what's
square
I
wave.
don't know what it's called, but the move where she's like in the air.
yeah,
Square wave. Okay. Yeah. So you can use square wave on F1, 2, 3 or 4, F1, 2, 4. I forget off the top of my head, but and then you can do it off the back 3, 4, and like it like works, and she also helps his zoning a little bit, so it's actually pretty decent cameo. I just prefer
Yeah,
Serena
and
because I like
that
to
was
get
actually a
42%
change. Speaking of the
combos.
patch, that
exactly.
they actually gave a buff to Serena. Is like now the character doesn't build meter while you're comboing them with Serena's cool out. So you're just gonna steal that bar. You're not fighting with the bar to like get the breaker back, which was like a yeah. So that was
Oh,
like one of the bigger
really?
changes that I
Oh,
saw that they made. So
I didn't
yeah,
even look at that.
Serena, you're free to do your combo in the corner, and while you're in her little pit, you're not building any meter. She's draining that full bar, and you're taking, yeah, even on hit.
Even on hit.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Pretty
that
big
I did not
change.
know.
Al-
But
Also, I want to point out, Dink, you should definitely show the clip of him winning that match because he called it Wideturn. That was
Oh,
genius to
100%.
call in Serena so that dude couldn't break her.
oh
Cause
yeah,
that
yeah.
that yeah, dude, that was crazy.
Oh man, the poor guy. I mean, I guess I'll just tap on it real quick, but the guy dropped his winning combo against me. Like just dropped it. And then he tried to like hit me on Oki and I backdash slid. As I was sliding, I used the Serena pool ambush. People tend to panic for whatever reason. You can just sit there, but he kind of panicked and I hit him with a back two and he couldn't get out and people were like, "Oh my god." Like people realized he couldn't break because he was stuck in the pit in the corner, and I
Yeah, I think
ended up stealing a win off that guy.
I think Kompetitor
and,
sent me that
yeah, it
clip, so I'm
sucks.
gonna try and have
Sounds
that on
happens.
screen here, just so everyone can. I mean, I think it was just recorded from a cell phone, but I mean, like you
Yeah,
could still
okay.
see what happened. It was probably the most hype thing I've
It was
seen
hype.
the entire event. That was probably the hypest match. Like, no, I mean the big brain read was
I mean,
there.
that's a
The
little much, but
clutchness was there. You needed to make sure that you hit anything, and you did this weird ass combo that I don't think I've ever seen you do before. But I mean, it worked. So I mean.
oh yeah. Well, I just did back 2-2 back. I just did back to jump 2-2-2 because it was easy and I knew it would kill. So I didn't want to risk like doing some hard like corner
Yeah,
combo and
that's
like
the smart
also
stuff.
drop it like.
Yep, that's one thing I always tell people. You know, when tournament mode's on, use what you know. Don't go for the flashy stuff if you're not confident with it, because you know if you drop that, you know it could mean your tournament life. That combo you did 1,000
Yeah,
times.
yeah, no,
Make sure
totally.
you could do it 1,000 times. Like,
Yeah,
In your sleep with your eyes
yeah, and
closed and the
that's
monitor
where I
off. You
mix
know what I'm saying?
myself. Like in scenarios like
exactly,
that,
exactly.
I'll be like, okay, I shouldn't do the big hard combo, but then like my hands don't want to do that, but my brain is thinking of a different combo, and then I just drop everything because I'm just confused myself.
Yeah, because you try and like go, oh, I'm gonna do something easier, and then like that like switch in your
Yeah, I'm
brain, you
not used
actually
to
end up
doing
like
that
fucking it
combo. I'm
up
used to
because you
doing
just
like
probably
the
should have
big
done what you're
damage,
used to.
hard to do combo. So it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's I definitely commend you for that moment in time. I was proud
For
of you,
sure.
proud of you. Hey, pipe.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah. So
Hype.
I'm trying to think of anything else that kind of might have been worth mentioning from the patch notes. I really think that like the killing Cyrax was the main thing. I wonder if, because from talking to people that were watching the stream, and anyone who's listening to this, maybe you can chime in, but apparently there was like a ton of Johnnies on the Mortal Kombat stream. Like Johnny Cage was everywhere. And like I wonder if that's something that kind of flew under the radar for NRS. Like maybe they just didn't catch how strong Johnny was, maybe? Because I'm trying to think. I'm kind of trying to think where they would have seen like
I don't
Johnny
know.
gameplay, you know,
I,
beforehand.
I feel like there's gonna be another fucking balance batch, but
I'm rooting
who knows?
for you
Comp,
to,
I'm rooting
I
for
don't
you.
know, just make him
You know.
fair. He doesn't feel
Yeah,
fair.
I my proposed changes is like one, make 1-1 not plus, just because like he already has like his jab stagger, and every character has jab stagger and to throw whatever stagger forward 3. I think that's fair, but you know, like the 1-1 is just so autopilot, and then you're guessing 1-1, 1-1, 2-1, you know, the plus frames and the, you know, looping pressure and stuff. And I don't think that it's good for the game, honestly, with how like autopilot that shit is, but I don't want to see him dead. So I think if they made that minus, and if they nerfed his EX parry to you know, maybe
Is
not
it
be
really
2
2 frames? I didn't know
I
that.
think he'd be fair.
That's
Yeah,
dumb.
the EX is 2
That's
frames.
actually dumb.
It starts up in 2 frames. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
very
think the
dumb.
changes would be minimal as well. Like even
That's
just like adjusting his jump kick, and if that's
yeah.
all they did, I would be happy.
I think so. My proposed changes, if anyone from NRS is listening, I honestly like Johnny's a rushdown character, so he shouldn't have any like screw neutral moves, right? So like Shadow Kick, it goes full screen. They should like half the range of Shadow Kick, in my opinion, because like you know he could use Lao Hat or Sector Missiles or like Striker Grenades to make that safe, right? And like that's just like a free get in tool when Johnny's the most dangerous when getting in. So I think they should either do that and leave his plus frames as is, or what they could do is like make his you know, plus frames on his 1-1, they could just make that like -3 or something to be more in line with his other strings.
Right.
And then obviously just nerf the parry. Cause the parry, like regular parries, whatever, it's the same as like Reiko's parry or whatever, but like the EX one like can punish almost
Yeah,
every
that's
character.
like, why would you give a parry like
kinda
that to a
crazy.
character that like, or in a game, sorry, that where everyone has gaps in their strings? Like that's kind of bizarre. Um, to kind of like kind of talk about like changes and stuff like that. I found that Johnny Cage's shadow kick um is really hard to well, I shouldn't say hard, but like it's awkward to punish on whiff. Like it seems like it recovers really fast. Like if you read it and neutral duck it, I have maybe it's just me, but I have problems with punishing it. Like I have to be like super duper like on point. I don't know if you guys have seen the same thing or not, but that's kind of what I felt. So
Yeah.
Ashura has a flash parry. I'd like to just point this out. Um,
right.
I'm playing against one that's not fun.
The Major.
Yeah, it's actually a flash parry. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
she just absorbed the hit and
I was playing
comboed me.
around with that earlier today. That's definitely a problem. I don't really see that lasting that long. But again, that needs to be stuff that NRS sees in order for them to fix. So I don't know. I think Asha's just super strong as it is anyways. So, but I don't see any like Asha's using her dark stance. Like I was playing around with that, and it's like pretty fun. There's some pretty funky stuff. You get like different combo launchers and stuff. Like no one's using that. They're just using the basic light stance stuff.
I think because of like if you touch somebody with that character, the dark isn't like optimal, like damage wise.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Even like
But I mean, I don't know.
yeah, like the dark just sets up more launchers for her in her light mode. Basically, you just kind of put the darkness stuff on them, switch back to the light mode, then you get like 2 extra launchers, one off a safe overhead.
You can switch mid combo, like when you do that stab where it just staggers them for a second, they fall over, you can switch.
Yeah, that's what that was. There was a combo there that I think it was like 2-1, switch into the darkness, then forward 4-2 into the little sword dance thing, and that builds like a full stack of the darkness. Then you just switch back to light, and then boom, you got your launchers
Right.
and stuff. So, but I'm not an
Right,
Asha
right.
main. I just messed around with her in practice mode. I don't know how viable any of that stuff actually is. But I don't think she got really. She didn't really get any. Oh, her Asha's forward 3, the soaring demon, her overhead. You can't 2-in-1 cancel that if you up block it. So that was a bit of a change. So if you up block that overhead, she can't just continue to go into like the upwards thing and then teleport to keep herself safe. She's stuck and gonna be punished.
You just up block it in the block string?
Well, it's just it's
Yeah,
one hit.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I was
she
sorry. I
can't
was thinking of
because
the
before
mid.
she could special cancel the non-EX one, and it was
Yeah.
just really dumb.
Yeah, so they
Yeah, my bad. I was thinking about the block string, the mid string.
changed that, so that was good. And then
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say they also changed Tanya's like spinning, where you would use Goro on Wake Up to kind of cover her spinning kick. I think, and I could be wrong, they made it a high so you can just duck it. I don't remember, but that's kind of a big change, if that's true.
yeah, it is. It's
Got to look into that, but
yeah, I was talking to James about that, and he was saying that they did give Tanya like a because I didn't really understand her patch notes. I was reading it and I'm like, I don't know what I'm reading. And he's like, yeah, basically it's a slight nerf. She's not as strong as she was, but it definitely didn't break her. I don't see too many Tanyas, so I don't
yeah,
really
her mid string is just so good. It's just so much stronger than other mid strings in this game.
the
The
one with the
one,
like all the chip damage and stuff.
Yeah, it's super actually hard to deal with for a lot of characters.
-6 on block. Dumb.
I mean,
yeah,
you can't tell
that's
when it stops though.
Yeah.
yeah, that staggers god tier, honestly.
Yeah, you can whiff punish pokes with it, and like, because she gets like a pretty deep backdash in the middle of those staggers. So you try and take your turn, and you just eat another one because you try to poke, but she was able to dash out. It's hard.
Feels bad. Feels bad. So let's put on our NRS caps for a second here. So I'll start with you,
Okay.
Wideturn. Um, you get to make some adjustments for Sub-Zero for the next patch. What do
Oh
you
God.
Do you have anything in mind that either like cameo wise that you use or with the actual character itself that you would want to see changed? Or I can pass it to competitor if you want a moment to think about that.
I think that's interesting. So what's weird about Sub is his low kick. Like it's I can combo off it with Serena, but like there's a lot of other cameos that just like for example, low kick into Sub-Zero cameo, Frost doesn't work, but it works with Serena. Like that's wonky to me. Like
Interesting.
I whatever change there is, like if you're gonna make the low cancelable, like make it consistent with other cameos so I can use other cameos. But I think the issue that I have the most with his strings and stuff is like his standing one should at least be plus. He doesn't. His only plus button is his standing four, and like why would anyone use that for anything?
Right.
He has no plus single hit buttons. Like his standing one should be like plus one or two. It's literally zero on block. You can basically just match after it. Um, and except for F1-2, every single other button in his strings are all you can armor through. So like 1, 2, 4, like you can armor after 1, you can armor after 2, you can armor. Like it's like there's gaps in all his strings. I think his strings kind of suck. I don't really know why they made his F1 his mid. I don't know why they made his mid 15 frames. Like I think it was probably just fine at um, 12 originally. Um, let's see. I think it's either they change all that stuff and just make it like some of that stuff a little bit more consistent and a little bit like more solid, or they make his overhead unreactable and don't change him at all. No, I'm just kidding. Well,
Oh,
I mean that's what I
damn.
wish, but
I mean,
like
fair.
they could leave him crappy, but like make his overhead like a little bit faster. Now I think people would probably complain about that, but yeah, in reality, probably just making his like strings a little bit tighter, a little bit better made. I'm just trying to think if there's anything that floats to the top because I pretty much only play him with Serena, so I'm not really like mixing up cameos and stuff. But
Right.
um, it just sucks because his Frost just like anytime you use any kind of ice clone or his down forward four, like his like freeze from the bottom, that's his combo extender. Like anytime you use any kind of ice, it significantly impacts his damage output, and that's like a weird way to like nerf character.
Yeah, I mean, true.
Um, so
All right. Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. Outside of the unreactable overhead, fuck that shit. I dealt with that
yeah,
shit
no,
for like
I'm just kidding. I
I've dealt
was
with that shit for
mostly
4 years.
kidding. It would be nice. It would be nice, but
We
yeah,
out here.
either make his low not cancelable at all, or make his overhead like a real overhead.
Yeah. I mean, given like the rest of the tools that he has, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the expert on Sub-Zero. I'll leave that
Yeah,
to you.
no.
Um.
Um, that's the wish list, but
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Competitor, anything? I know you've talked a little bit about the changes. Do you want anything that maybe you could add on, or that you haven't said already? Or
Yeah, I wish forward 3 hit from half screen. I
oh
don't
my
think
god, this fucking guy.
I don't know. I don't really have any proposed changes for Johnny. Like I said, I hope when they nerf him, they don't kill him because, like, the hype stuff is really cool and he's a fun character. But if they get rid of all his plus frame, like, he's not a mix-up character. Like, people getting hit by his mix, like, they're not, fuzzy guarding properly and stuff. So, like, that's not his strength. And I'm scared if they nerf his plus frames, he's gonna have to rely on people not knowing how to, fuzzy an 8 frame mix up. So uh that's like the biggest thing.
I don't even fuzzy it. I just react to it.
You could react to it. I mean, the low comes out so much faster than the overhead. It's sick,
Right.
but like it's not a real mix up, and you could armor the gap, in the overhead, things like that. So my biggest fear is they're just gonna take away all his plus frames, and then he's gonna be a useless character.
And then his buttons are gonna be as bad as Sub-Zero's.
Yeah, literally. Because that's like, because I've been teaching my cousin. He's new to fighting games. I've been teaching him. He wants to play Sub-Zero. He insists on it.
Oh
And
boy.
like obviously I have to learn the character to teach him. And it's like Sub-Zero doesn't have any plus frames. Like you're not opening people up with pressure. You got to like really enforce a stagger. And that's why he's considered lower tier. He doesn't have any kind of pressure whatsoever. You could punish clone setups. It's like, how are you supposed to open people up that are like really good defensive players? Like they're not gonna fall for forward one backdash every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not gonna get hit by the overhead. They're
Yeah,
gonna armor through him throwing out clone just to cover. And Liu Kang can punish his F1 too, just with his 6 frame high, and Johnny can too with his
yeah,
poke.
down one, yeah.
So if they just like literally they just have to like adjust some of his strings like slightly, and then like I'd be happy and I'd probably end up actually playing him. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking about playing Havoc.
either more pushback or like just make them like more close to
Something, yeah.
zero or something. Yeah. But like I said, as for Johnny, I hope for all nerfs going forward they tread lightly. Like things that need to go. Like I said, I think Johnny's either 1-1 needs to go or his parry needs to go, something of the sorts like that. Well, not like get rid of it, but you know normalize it. And then same thing like Astra's flash parry needs to go. Something needs to be done about Sento with Kenshi because like okay, yeah, he doesn't have any mix-ups, but he has the best backdash in the game, and back two's an insane button. One whiff punish into 40%, and then you're getting sandwiched.
Or he got
You
mixed
know.
up with Sento though,
Yeah, with
doesn't he?
Sento,
Are
he
they
has.
real? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he has a real overhead and low launcher with Sento, but
That's what I thought.
it's getting Sento out. Is what Kenshi players mainly complain is the problem. But I mean, like, I've seen some setups where they can get him out on block. Like,
I think that's just a Kenshi problem, though. Like, Kenshi's just like, Sento is
How it's
so
designed.
strong that it's not supposed to be easy to get Sento out. It's kind of how I've viewed it.
yeah,
At least from
because
the
I mean,
Kenshis that I've played, it's like, they're like really not that bad until like Sento's out. And then it's like, okay, now safe mix into chip damage, into eat all
yeah,
this, into full
it's
combo.
It's one whiff punish into 42% getting sandwiched and guessing for your life or trying to flawless block.
Yeah, that's been my Kenshi experience, anyways. At least from a defending standpoint.
Yeah, he's like a glass cannon kind of, but like I
Like
don't know,
like MKX Quan, kind of.
little bit.
Maybe a little stronger though, and without a shitty sky drop and an actual wake up.
Bro, who said Reptile has a better sky drop than Quan
Yeah, that
Chi,
was me.
bro?
I was playing against Costner, and I was like, "What the hell? Reptile has a better sky drop than Quan Chi."
Dude, that took me out.
Well, it was when Reptile hit him out of the air, and I was like, "Does that have an aerial hitbox?" And Costner just looked at me like I was an idiot. Like, of course it does. Why wouldn't it? I'm like, "Cause Quan Chi's doesn't." Like, what the fuck? Uh, Okay, so my changes that I would impose uh, go towards Shujinko as a Shujinko main first. I've been playing around with some other characters. I've mainly Kung Lao, which is weird to me because I had absolutely do not care for Kung Lao at all as a character. But he meshes well with Shujinko in the matches that I need to fill against Shang. And honestly, I don't think I'd change anything about Shang. I don't know how you two feel, but feels decent. He can do everything kind of well. I don't think he needs anything kind of big as far as specific goes. And of course,
Yeah.
his ability to change into any character that he's facing that's next level too. So like even if he sucks in a matchup, he just boom switches. Now it's a mirror. Like assuming you know how to use those characters. But with Shujinko, I think there needs to be a little bit more incentive to get him on, like to charge him a little bit easier, especially with like before the patch. It was fine because you could throw him up. He was a meat shield. He would charge himself, and then he got hit. Whatever, he goes away. He can come back immediately. Obviously, there was a little bit of an oversight with how cameos in general worked, and I think it was a general change that they made that kind of nerfed him to the point where now if you throw him out and he gets hit, well, there's like a 4 or 5 second cooldown before I can bring him back, which really hurts my game as far as charging him up. So I don't exactly know how you would change that without making him different. I think if you could have him sit a little bit farther behind the character when you call him out, because there's usually when you call him out, he's just kind of on your character, like a little bit before your character, so he's pretty vulnerable. If I just tapped cameo button, he just kind of sat behind my character. I think that would be a bit of a helpful thing to get him, and also give him some ambush attacks, especially in some of the matchups where he has bad steals like Natara, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang. Make some of those like an ambush attack, because he really doesn't. Every single thing he does, other than to run out and charge, is a summon attack. And I think if he had some of those moves that weren't maybe the greatest, but they're ambush attacks, that would kind of help him be a little bit more useful of a cameo. I don't think he's bad per se. Like, he's just not pick up and play like Hat, for example, or Cyrax or Striker. Good lord, I think Striker. I've seen so many
Yeah,
strikers.
Striker.
He's so strong. He's so strong.
Yeah, Striker's really strong. I agree.
Like,
I
just block pressure into plus 57 or whatever with the grenades. Like, craziness.
No, there is something so ugly about the way people are using Striker, man. Like, I'm starting a match, and Liu Kang does his fucking like bicycle kick or flying kick at the start of the match.
Yeah, you can cover it with Striker because it's slow.
Yeah, and then you go to punish it, and whoo, you get hit by grenades, and he full combos you. It's like, what the hell? Like, I was playing in a tournament the other night, and I'm like, all right, start of the match, whatever. And I block, and he just immediately does back forward 4. And I'm like, that was stupid. And I'm 2-1 with Johnny, and then I get hit by grenades into 35%. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But there's ways around it. I'm just saying that's ugly.
I mean, it kind of it depends though. Like it kind of like hits twice. Like sometimes it breaks armor. Like depending on where you get hit, it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
could
like
down
it.
two. You could down 2 trade. You
Yeah.
could down 2 trade.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
because it hits like mid, but like you could poke under it and you could down 2 trade. That's probably the
yeah.
best
I
way to
gotta
deal
learn
with it.
that. I gotta learn my you know, if I can't do anything else, I might as well just hit a single button to trade and do more damage. Like, yeah, it's smart. A lot of people, you know, they try and find a way out, but there's no real good way out of stuff.
Yeah, sometimes there isn't. There isn't always a way out of things, and like sometimes the best defense to something like that is just making sure you're not there in the first place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
or
or
whatever your
flawless
trade
block.
is. We're literally all of us are saying different different things. But you know, if you just match the damage output, like if you just down 2 and you do like slight more damage, you might not get like a big combo, but if they keep doing that, you keep hitting someone with the down 2, you're literally gonna always have the life lead. So sometimes simple answers are the best answers.
It's true. That
Yep.
is true. Don't
That's one
overthink
thing
things.
too, is you could be as patient as possible, or as patient as you want in this game, because like I keep forgetting too, you can flawless block like every single attack in the game. So you can negate chip damage from a whole string, from a whole cameo, whatever it is. And you know, if your flawless blocking is on point, you could just take no chip damage ever. Like, and I feel like that's eventually going to be the meta. Because like MK11, the incentive to flawless block was obviously just doing the you know,
Up
the
2, up 3.
up 3, but like there it was either you had to flawless block the first hit of something, or like the predetermined gap in a string. Whereas now you could flawless block in so many more situations, starting, you know, after each individual hit, whatever it may be. So I feel like the game's gonna evolve, and flawless blocking is gonna be super important. Like, I mean, we already saw it with like Ninja Killa and Combat, you know, against Raidens and stuff at ECT. Like they were negating the chip damage, and it wasn't even a problem.
Yeah, and I think they actually changed that in the patch as well, where like you take even you build even less meter on block by flawless blocking things. So you're also stopping your opponent from building meter as well as taking less chip damage. It gets a really strong mechanic that if you want to be like top tier at this game, you definitely have to focus on.
All right, I think we're getting to the point for the topic we're all probably trying to avoid.
Yeah, so I think we've discussed everything uh, so far. We got some Halloween funness from NRS. We had a Halloween stage, which I don't know if you've played on it. I think it's actually pretty cool. It's a good idea.
Sure.
I hope to see like more kind of things like that. But we got something that disappointed me a little bit, and I think we're all in agreement here. Is like $12 for
I love
fatality.
microtransactions.
Wideturn
That's
secretly working
ridiculous.
for EA, but like,
Yeah, no.
yeah, $12 for fatality, like that's unhinged in my opinion. Like that's absolute craziness.
I yeah,
You
I think that's just horrible, 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 horrible technique for any company to do something like that, right? Because I'm gonna interject really quick. If this was a free to play game, for example, Fortnite, Warzone, and people want to spend
Rocket
20
League.
bucks on a skin, Rocket League, if people want to spend 20 bucks on a skin, 20 bucks, 10 bucks
Sure.
on cosmetics, whatever. This is a $70 game, 110 if you bought premium edition, whatever. I like that we got the stage for free. That was really nice. But for a fatality to be $12, if it was like $3, whatever. It's
Yeah,
$12. That is ridiculous just for a single fatality. No skins, nothing. That's
Yeah.
insane to ask out of this game. When we don't have online practice, we don't have online rooms. Like, it's insanity for them to pull something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, like, the game kind of like shipped kind of like bare bones too. Aside from like, there are some cosmetics like MK. I feel like MK11 at launch had like quadruple the amount of cosmetic things as this game. So like that also kind of feels like a slap in the face too. It's like make a game with less cosmetics, charge as much or more for the game, and then make people buy something that's outrageously expensive. Well, not make, but like obviously it's just not a good look. But
No,
yeah,
it's
I
like I
don't
said, if it was two,
understand.
$3, sure. But now here's the flip side. If this was going towards something like, per se, $12 for this fatality, the Halloween fatality, 50% goes towards the next pro competition event,
Yep.
then that wouldn't be a problem. That's community crowdfunding. It supports the
I'd
community
buy
a
it in a
little bit,
second. I
whatever.
would have bought it in a
Yeah,
second.
I would have bought it on
Yeah, me too.
this and the
Yeah.
PC version. It's like to support that, but that's just lining the pockets of Warner Brothers, whatever's going on up there. Because like I've been told from sources that Warner Brothers requires them to have microtransactions. Like that, it is like a requirement to have
Yeah.
microtransactions. So as much as NRS creates this cool stuff, like you can't just blame them. Like I guarantee they didn't want to charge $12 for this. They probably just wanted to put out free seasonal content, hence the stage, things like that. But
Yeah.
they sometimes, game companies get their arms twisted by publishers. It is what it is, and I can't confirm that this is exactly that, but just keep that in mind before you start tagging the poor
Yeah,
developers on
Boone or
Twitter.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely
But
feels like that because like NRS has always been like community focused and they've been pretty like involved in things, so this definitely seems out of place for them, especially they did seem to kind of avoid that for the most part in MK11. Like you had like the whatever the time crystals whatever were, but like you didn't need those, so like those were just kind of extra types of things. Wasn't anything. And especially like the fatality, like that's the
Yeah.
one thing that Mortal Kombat has always been known for is the fatality, and to monetize that for the first time ever is pretty crazy to me.
yeah, that's so wild.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Wytern, I cut you off there. You were starting a sentence.
No. I was just saying that's it's just wild. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't know if it's NRS, but I really highly doubt it.
I'm
Like I think in Injustice there was a skin that went to tournaments. Oh no, maybe it was MKX. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it
My
was MKX. They had the Ermac skin, and then they had
oh okay yeah.
the Blue Steel Sub-Zero skin, and
Oh, the blue
um,
steel.
there's some information that I got during those days. that if it wasn't for those two skins, there wouldn't have been a third Pro League season. Like they were only planning two, but because those skins did so well, they single-handedly funded a third season.
That's
Which
so cool.
I
That's
know
awesome.
it's so awesome, and like to not see something like that happening, like even like we've seen like screenshots of like the fine print and stuff saying like WB in no way like
Yeah.
financed any
Yeah,
of
they
this
didn't
stuff.
support any of the tournament
It was
stuff.
all NRS doing it, so they're trying their best, I guess. But like, I feel like stuff like that, like why not? Why not do
That's
something like
never gonna
that?
happen because I mean, if you look at it like that, like Warner Brothers was not involved in any of the pro competition like support at all, then they're probably also not gonna approve a skin being used for that because the publisher is probably trying to make their money off that skin. So I don't know. I mean,
I
I'm
mean, yeah,
just
internal
speculating, but
internal politics and all that kind of thing.
right,
Mm-hmm.
sucks. It just sucks for everyone except for the people who put money in their pockets, which makes it more frustrating.
Yeah, and I mean, like y'all said, like I've played free to play games before, and like if it didn't cost me anything to play the game, I really don't mind spending a couple bucks because like yeah, I've been enjoying this game. I'll throw you some money just so I can. I think the last game I played like that was Spellbreak. I think loved that game. That game was so fun. Rip Spellbreak. But like I don't mind throwing a couple bucks to buy a skin or whatever just because to support something that I really like. But like yeah, this was a mainstream game plus extra for the combat pack and all that kind of stuff. So this just kind of seems. Do you think it would have been a little bit more redeemable if you would have got this fatality if you had purchased the combat pack? Or do you think it's just as scummy?
I think it's just as scummy, but then again, it's like the seasonal content. Like it should have been like stage and fatality bundled for $5 for Halloween stuff, whatever.
Sure.
And I feel like that'd be fair. I mean, we got the stage for free, but like, dude, $12 for a fatality, no skins. Like, what is that, man? Like,
And
who's the one calling these shots? Do they not know? Like, do they not see the state of gaming? Right? Nobody's gonna fucking pay for that.
yeah,
Like,
capitalism,
Yeah,
baby.
I mean, we also like. I mean, I'm playing. I'm not in support of it. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like we don't really know what goes on. Like maybe they hired like a lot more people, but the pace, like it took them 4 years, which they burned through money, like taking more time to do it. Like I don't know like the whole system of the business and how it affects it. Obviously, it still feels wrong. Um, but yeah, incomplete game. I mean, like I wish we just got more communication. Like practically incomplete game. Not a lot of cosmetics to begin with. Big charge on the cosmetics. WB not supporting, the tournaments. It's actually kind of like upsetting. Like it's like I want this game to be great. I want there to be like an esports, and man, I might end up just playing Project L with Riot if they do a good job. I'm not
Yeah,
even that hyped about the game. If they just do a good job with the community, I might just like play that. I don't know. I don't know the future of what this means for the game and what it means for their next titles, and
yeah,
but it's
like
making it harder for. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, like I know like this was the first game that they did on the new engine, so I think they maybe ran into a
Right.
couple of like snags with like, getting the engine to work, and you could definitely see that with some of the glitches and stuff that I've seen. Like I saw recently, like some characters can just like be half into the map, like only
oh,
half of them
that's
are above
hilarious.
ground. Yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty crazy.
that's the buff I want for Johnny. He should just start the match halfway in the ground. There we
Just like full Pharaoh mode, like
go.
Like Adam from Injustice 2, it's just like
Oh
yeah.
God.
Oh wow.
Make
Oh, I forgot
yo,
about that.
he goes in hype mode is just Adam's trait.
dude, no,
Please
please, no,
no.
I don't ever want to see that character again.
I hated that character. Still do. Still do. Um,
Meme character.
totally, totally. One of these days we gotta do like a reminiscing on Injustice 2 because that game was freaking
Hey,
crazy.
I signed up for NEC Injustice 2. I'm gonna fucking
Did
go
you really?
nuts. Yeah, I'm gonna go nuts.
Oh wait, they have. Ooh, I might have to go to NEC.
Why not? Love the
Yo,
Injustice
come
2.
come see this cheetah. I think I still got it.
Oh fuck, Cheetah, dude.
I agree. I agree. That
No,
character's.
no. Quick
No, no, no. You
sidetrack.
can't say
Combo.
that. Firestorm
No.
bodies him.
No. Combo Breaker 2017. So literally a month after the game came out, right? And, you know, I played a lot of Injustice 1. You know, I was playing Aquaman, obviously. He's my favorite superhero. But, like, you know,
Busted.
legacy character. I'm ready. I know all the Injustice 1 matchups. I basically know what their plan is, whatever. I get into a pool. My pool, I fought 4 cheetahs.
Wow, that's never happened before. What?
That's what
crazy.
I'm saying. I think I lost to Newbie and Alcatraz, but like I fought 2 other cheetahs and like a Superman. Like I fought 4 cheetahs in my pool. I'm like, are you kidding me? Brand new game. I gotta fight 4 fucking cheetahs, dude. Like I didn't know that matchup at all. I just down tooting from the deep.
I don't think anyone still knows that matchup.
No.
All right, well,
But-
we'll save that conversation for maybe an Injustice 2 reminiscing time. But
oh
sure.
yeah.
I think that we touched on all our topics. Unless there's anything else y'all want to bring up, good discussion.
No, I think that's pretty much covers it.
Cool. Hopefully you did well on that tournament, Kompetitor, while we were recording this.
No. I went I went 0-2. I'll admit that.
Well, hey, you know, no salt
I-
dripped through to this conversation, so that's
Yeah.
that's
Hey,
impressive.
all I'm saying is that was fucking stacked, dude. I had to fight Gambler and Dark Elite. I definitely need to brush up.
yikes.
And
I definitely need to brush up on the Ashura matchup. That character's a little nutty. He was doing some stuff I've never seen. He actually went into dark mode. I know you mentioned that like while we were talking about her.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
nobody goes into it. He went into it and I had no idea what was going on. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. So that was pretty fun. But yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining me on here and chatting and reminiscing about stuff. I appreciate y'all. I'm sure we'll be getting together again sometime soon.
yes, sir.
Of course.
And to everyone listening, thanks for making it all the way through. There was, you know, we laughed, cried, we shit our pants, that whole thing during this whole hour-long conversation. So, that being said, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like because it really helps me out. And subscribe if you haven't, because we make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.